Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jay here with yet another video. I'm going to upload this to my personal channel, Facebook, and my YouTube channel, Faith Evolved, which is my faith-based YouTube channel where I discuss various spiritual topics. And this video is going to be all about this pesky little disorder called sensorimotor / somatic OCD, also known as hyper-awareness OCD. And sometimes you might even be getting some pure OCD, which is like random distressing thoughts while going through this like I did. And thankfully I didn't have it too bad compared to the actual sensory motor stuff. But I want to first shout out to Michael Murtica of Murtica Mindfulness, a tongue twister there, for being a huge help and resource for me in overcoming this particular condition. And I'm still, I still deal with it. It doesn't completely ever go away, but you don't want it to, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, if you're going through this right now, I don't care what you feel right now. I mean, I do care, but I don't care if your brain is telling you this will never stop. This will never, ever go away. And I'm here to tell you that although it doesn't just go away one day, you can't get hypnotized and stop thinking about it. Trust me, I tried that. I tried so many different things. But it gets to the point where it's just like, remember you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend and, when you broke up, it felt really bad. You couldn't stop thinking about them and how much they hurt you, how much they miss them, or whatever the case may be. But slowly over time, it just becomes a memory. And that emotional connection to it fades. Well, the same exact thing with this particular condition. So anyways, like I said, there's other videos about this subject out there. Michael Murtica's a really good resource. I figured, you know what? Yeah, there might be other videos about this, but the more that are out there, the better, because I want this to be a reminder that you're not alone and you will get over this. Trigger warning. I am going to mention some of the symptoms of this. And if you're just now getting into this, and you're probably well aware by reading comments here and other places that there are different themes, if you will, or different types of obsessions that you can have. I'm going to say the most common ones up front, because most likely if you're watching this video, you're probably either dealing with, breathing OCD, where you can't stop thinking about breathing, or you're dealing with maybe your eyes blinking or something like that. There are other ones, so I would ask you to skip ahead. I'm going to post right here at the bottom of this video where to skip to if you don't want to see the different themes and stuff. And I'm not saying this to scare you, because it doesn't matter. You can have one theme or 50 themes. It's all the same thing. It's all an anxiety response. It's just your body's way of handling it. You're so stressed out. You have so much anxiety, so much fear. There's probably so much going on in your life right now. Maybe you just had a spiritual awakening, or you have a crisis of faith. Maybe you grew up in a certain religion and found out that maybe it wasn't all that you thought it was, and you're questioning everything, questioning your beliefs, questioning your whole life, your existence. You're in a dark night of the soul, which I would say all of those things happened to me. Plus, I was going through a divorce and moving and just so many different things going on in my life. Not surprised this happened to me. Looking back, hindsight's 2020. But I will say there are other themes, and it doesn't matter if you like I said, if you have 1 or 50 or 100, or it doesn't matter which ones. They're all the same thing, and they all equally make you feel the same when you get them. For example, I remember the first time it happened to me. The day I discovered it, I was laying in bed, woke up and looked at my wife, and all of a sudden my eyes were blinking, and I noticed them. And at first I'm like, this is weird. Why do I notice my eyes blinking? And I don't know what necessarily caused it, maybe because I know I was trying different strains of weed, medical marijuana, specifically to try to help me with depression and anxiety I was dealing with at the time. And I think that might have triggered it. It could have also been that I was taking kratom and occasionally smoking cigarettes, sometimes all at the same time. So it could have been that. I know some people have had weird experiences like depersonalization, derealization, OCD, and other kinds of mental disorders kind of pop up or get triggered by or exacerbated by smoking weed. So I think that might have been what caused it. I'm not entirely sure. It could have been even lorazepam, because I remember I tried lorazepam for the first time around that time too. I can't pinpoint exactly what caused it, but in the end, it's all anxiety. It's really all it is. And it's just a symptom. The OCD is a symptom of underlying disorder, that being a fear disorder. And there's definitely plenty of articles about the fear response, the fight or flight syndrome, that scary rush of adrenaline that you get when you're confronted by something very scary or fearful. And that's what happens when you get this particular OCD. You get that rush, like, oh no, I'm never going to stop thinking about this. Holy crap, is this going to be like this the rest of my life? So for me, it started with blinking, and then other things like swallowing, breathing, even just moving, just noticing every part of my body. And I'm not going to mention every single one of them, but there was even ones where I'll be driving down the highway. It's kind of funny now when I look back. It's like I've been looking at the highway and noticing the signs go by. And like, oh no, I'm always going to notice the signs going by, or I start counting stuff, or counting breathing, or whatever. And there's a little trick for that, by the way. If you're dealing with counting, just speed up the counting real fast, and then your brain gets confused. You're like, oh, and it gets bored. So that seemed to work for me. Just you're going 1, 2, just go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it just throws everything off, and then you get distracted and you think about something else. So anyways, that's one trick for the counting OCD. But like I said, there's tons of different themes, tons of different issues, and the thing that helped me was realizing they're all the same. They're all just different manifestations, different themes based on the same underlying fear disorder. So when it first started happening to you, I'm sure you were like, oh my God, you were so startled, so surprised by it. And what's happening is you're literally linking these different sensations and thoughts to the fight or flight. That's literally what's happening. And you might not notice it right now, but as time goes on, you get educated on it, you start to realize, oh, scientifically, that's what's happening. Maybe months or weeks go by and you're trying to, push it aside or, brush it off, but it just keeps coming because you're not doing anything about it. And there's going to be more stressful issues that come up and different events that'll exacerbate it. Like I said before, relationship issues, weed, or other drugs. I can't attest to other drugs. I don't do drugs, but sometimes trying different healing modalities could trigger it. Maybe hypnotism or energy healing. I went to a couple energy healing folks around that time as well. There's so many different things that could cause it. I think weed was what caused it for me. But there was an event where I was, just had sold my house, was ready to move to Virginia, and in the moving truck, and I was so full of because I had the car, the back, and everything, and just everything I owned in the truck. And I ended up getting off the highway and getting stuck on a one-way, and you can't back up with this thing when you have a car in the back in tow. So I was totally freaking out, full of anxiety. My daughter's sitting next to me. I'm getting stuck on these one-way roads, and I just started getting more themes, more things popping up, more obsessions, and it was just hell. And by the time I finally got to my destination and everything settled down, I ended up going to the ER because I just couldn't settle myself down. I was stuck in the fight or flight. It was constant hell of anxiety. Eventually went to the ER. They gave me some lorazepam, took the edge off, but it didn't really help much in the long term. Ended up getting a prescription for lorazepam, and there was some points where I couldn't sleep because I had so much anxiety that I had to take at least half a 0.5 milligram of lorazepam to sleep at night. And that went on for about a month. And then, of course, what do? Look up Dr. Google. Oh, all the different withdrawal symptoms of trying to wean off lorazepam and all the side effects and long-term, damage it can do to your brain and all this stuff. So I freaked out about that. And of course, I'm getting off the lorazepam and having withdrawal symptoms, and it was just a hellish time, And there was going through that, plus going through a divorce, having relationship issues, dealing with personal crises in my life, spiritual, interpersonal, and all those other things that was going on. It was just every moment of every day was torture. So, and I noticed looking back that, my body's response to the, some OCD thoughts, the pure OCD, the sensorimotor and somatic OCD symptoms I was having were because I had anxiety. In other words, the blinking was not causing the anxiety. The anxiety was causing the blinking. So now it does seem like a vicious cycle at the time. You don't know, but in the end, there is that fight or flight mechanism that's in you, and that's what is the culprit. So he had that big explosion, and the worst, confusion and fear started turning into complete hopelessness and despair. And there was days, I'll be honest with you, I wanted to die. If I wasn't suicidal, but if there's a little notch above that, that's where I was at. So I totally understand, totally relate to anybody going through this particular disorder. It feels helpless and hopeless, like you're stuck inside your own head. You start getting existentialist type thoughts. like what's the purpose of existence? What's the purpose of my life? You just start, and it's all, because notice when before all this happened, you probably enjoyed some things. You probably enjoyed your life. You probably didn't have all these questions and fears and thoughts popping up that ruined your very existence. So it's hard to believe it at the time, but it's all just a symptom of anxiety. All just that symptom of the fight or flight response. And again, like I said, if you're in the middle of that fight or flight response right now, if you're going through that hell that I was going through just a few short months ago, don't read the comments. I would say wait until that fight or flight triggering stops. You'll get to a point where you stop getting that rush of new fearful thoughts and new sensations and obsessions coming up. And maybe after a few weeks or months even, I would say, then you might feel safe to look at the comments. And really, if you're already not listening to me and putting comments anyway, reading the comments, and you start getting new themes and new obsessions and new thoughts, like I said, it might not seem like it. You don't have to get rid of each theme or obsession one at a time. You can diminish them all, just by getting your anxiety under control. And there's some that will be there's a couple that I deal with even still today that are, I would say, are still bothersome. But there's some that I forgot that I even had, and I only remember once a month or every few weeks, and it's just for a few seconds. The time in between each thought will reduce, or each sensation will reduce. There's times where I start thinking about my breathing, and then 3 seconds later I forgot, and I'm doing something else. Your brain can get healed. So, like I said, it's pretty hellish time. I totally understand what you're going through, and now I want to talk about some things that I did that I think helped me. Again, watching videos like this is helpful. Check out, again, Michael Murtica at Murtica Mindfulness. He does some videos on this, very helpful. This is more like a crash course, in your face, no BS kind of explanation and solutions to it. So the first thing I did is the something method. Now I call it the something method because you can Google you probably know what I'm talking about. There's a certain method out there that this guy from the UK does, and he charges a pretty penny for it. But I'll sum it up in two statements. One, stop focusing on the anxiety. Two, fill your time with other things. That's really that method. That something method. It begins with an L, ends with an N. You can probably figure it out. Don't spend the money on it. Literally, I'll tell you what to do. All right. Stop Googling your symptoms. Stop talking about it. Stop talking to other people about it. Stop going to the doctor about it, because they're just going to throw a prescription at you, which might help you. Don't get me wrong. A prescription does help some people get through this, like antidepressant, SSRI, or lorazepam, like a benzo. I'm not saying not to ever do that, but the point is to, once you get the prescription, don't keep trying to find some other solution for a prescription if you already found one that is helping. If it's not helping, I would say talk to your doctor about getting off of that prescription medication. Matter of fact, that method even tells you to look into getting off that medication safely with a doctor's permission. So basically, it's the whole idea behind it is you keep going on the internet, keep looking up these videos, keep looking up forums, and you keep looking up WebMD and drugs.com, reading drug reviews. I did that for days, man, weeks. Just every single day, just spending all my time trying to figure out how to fix this damn disorder, how to fix this damn anxiety issue once and for all. And, just trying, spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars on different supplements that I've tried over the years to help my anxiety. And then, of course, even more so when this started. In the end, of course, you do have the right to try different things, see what helps you. Everything I'm going to tell you here may not be the perfect solution for you, but I will guarantee you it'll help you get better. The very first thing, of course, like I said, is taking your mind off the anxiety. You have to abandon anxiety. Yes, you heard what I said. Abandon anxiety. Here's a quote from one of my favorite books, the Urantia book. Anxiety must be abandoned. The disappointments hardest to bear are those which never come. Your biggest fear is that you're always going to be worried that you're going to be focused on your different bodily sensations or distressing thoughts. It never happens. If you think about it, even when you're in the middle of the hell, aren't there moments that go by that you're thinking about something else? There's always at least a few seconds or a few minutes that go by where you're so, you're delving into something. You're on a phone call with somebody, you're talking to a therapist, or talking to your doctor, or talking to a friend or a relative or whatever, spouse. Your mind stops for just a few minutes. You're in the flow state and you're talking about something else. You're not dealing with that particular issue at that time. And if you can do it for a few seconds, you can do it for a few minutes, you can do it for a few hours, and it gets better and better over time. Trust me, you're gonna have to retrain yourself by first abandoning anxiety. First, stop looking it up, stop basically act as if you don't have anxiety. And you know what is another thing? Defiantly go on with your life. Like, there was one morning I woke up, and I remember this like it was yesterday, where I just woke up and I was in the pit of despair. I had no hope at that point that anything was ever gonna get better. My life was falling apart. And it was just almost constant torment. And just even the things that brought me joy didn't bring me joy anymore. There was like no point in living. So I just picked up my laptop and I was sitting on my bed and I was like, well, I got nothing better to do. I gotta work, I gotta make money. So I just sat there in my bed and I worked. Just a few short hours later, I started feeling better. And I was like, whoa, what is this? It's the something method. I took my mind off, the anxiety and the depression, and I started doing something else that, the train is going 90 miles an hour one direction. You can't just throw the brakes on and expect it to stop right away. It's got to slow down first, come to a stop, and then go into the opposite direction. And it's got to take one step at a time, and you got to be patient with this. So like I said, abandon anxiety. Live your life as normal as much as you humanly can. Defiantly. I think that one important thing about this is almost like get angry. Like, get angry that you allowed yourself to get to this point, because it's, you didn't purposely intend this to happen to you, but you didn't handle the stress properly before this. I didn't handle the stress properly before this, and it kept spiraling out of control. I didn't have these, measures. I was Googling stuff before this happened to me. I was Googling my conditions, and I've been focused on, why is this happening to me? Woe is me. Oh, this sucks for years before it finally spiraled out of control. So we got to break these bad habits. And the first thing to do is, like I said, go on with your life. Stop focusing on the anxiety, because the more you focus on the anxiety, the more it's going to be there. It almost sounds kind of counterintuitive, but it's almost kind of like the law of attraction. You can Google that too if you want. The next thing here is that I think is helpful for me. It's a spiritual type, energy-based tool that I found, and I can't exactly say for sure if it's just been placebo effect or not, but anything that can help you, try it. And one of my favorite spiritual or metaphysical or energy type practice is the emotion code or body code by Dr. Brad Nelson. Look that up. And releasing trapped emotions using magnets, because everything in your body is energy, and negative emotions can be trapped in your energy body, and it can be released. Again, I can't scientifically prove that. I'm more of a scientific, intellectual type person, so I'm usually skeptical of those kind of things, but I've noticed that when I started doing that with everything else I'm doing, I've been feeling better. So see if there's something to that for you. Here's the next thing that you do. See this hand right here? Snap yourself in the face. Now, why did I just do that? Well, honestly, you gotta start enjoying yourself and being silly and being ridiculous. And I'm serious. Like, I would start watching all these funny videos and movies and just like laughing again, getting, excited again about just stupid, like go watch Stevie T or go watch anything by Jim Carrey or, just any, comedy skit or anything like that. Just act like a complete and total ridiculous fool. Like, I would make stupid videos on Snapchat and TikTok and, make stupid noises and sounds and yell random things and just being myself. I'm kind of a silly person. I think anybody who's dealing with this particular issue probably already feels weird about themselves and has low self-esteem, maybe because they're kind of weird and, nerdy or whatever. I'm kind of a nerdy, geeky kind of guy, but you know what? Who cares? Be yourself. You can't be anybody else other than who you are. And I just found that just watching funny videos helped my mood get better and move that energy in the right direction. And and the slapping yourself in the face has a second meaning to it. Snap out of it. Snap out of the another big part of this is not letting the emotional extortion, thank you for Mark Conrad for that word, take over. Because a lot of times when you're going through this, you're also feeling depressed and sad about a lot of things that you regret in your life, and relationships that failed, and friends you've lost, and things that just didn't go your way, money that you lost, and opportunities, and all these different things. You feel bad about yourself, and you're just letting these emotions take you over. And you have to get to the point where you're like, no, I'm going to snap out of it. I'm not going to let this, and it takes practice. You have to literally, and one of the biggest ways to do that is meditation, like watching those thoughts come in and not emotionally latching onto them. And it's one of the, probably another big thing that I think has helped me big time with the, the emotional aspect of this condition, where you're usually not in a good mood or you're upset, and that can lead to the anxiety and depression. So just not latching onto those thoughts, noticing that they're there, but letting them flow by. It takes practice, and meditation is another thing that I'll recommend as well. Of course, another huge thing is, if you're a spiritual person, believe in a higher power, prayer, asking others to pray for you. Those are huge. Realizing that you're not alone, and that, God is aware of everything you're going through and will help you through it, and send other people your way to help you through it. Hopefully I'm one of them. I'm paying it forward, hopefully. And like I said, start doing the things you love, even if at first you're going through the motions. Like me, I play guitar, I sing, I do silly videos, I do serious videos like this, and my faith-based videos. I pride myself on being able to be completely serious in 1 minute, and then the complete off-the-wall goofball in the next moment. Just how I am. The only supplements that I think didn't have any negative side effects that I would take was GABA and natural calm magnesium, which is the magnesium powder you stir into water and wait a few minutes and then drink it. Those things I think take the edge off. But these other practices I think are much more powerful. Because in the end, you have to reprove to yourself that you're worthy of feeling better. You've let yourself get so down, so hopeless, and just so low self-esteem that you felt that you couldn't even have anything better. Like I was at the point where I didn't even know that I was even capable of feeling better again. That's how bad it got. So, and like I said, anger. Use the anger for a good thing, because you've seen those charts where it shows at the bottom of the enlightenment chart, you have shame, guilt, fear, depression, and then it goes up to anger, and then kind of more neutral acceptance, and then you get happiness, joy, peace, enlightenment, all this other stuff. So when you're at the very bottom, when you're at fear, shame, guilt, and depression, freaking damn well better get angry. Who the hell said you have to stay there? And there would be times that I'd get pissed and say, no, I'm not freaking staying here. Screw you, But you don't stay at anger. Anger is like a jumping point. It's a means to an end, to getting to a better place. But overall, another thing that people say, time heals. It's true. You got to give yourself time. You got to realize it takes time to heal. And you will get some flare-ups. You'll notice that you're getting, better. You'll notice you'll be able to look back. And there'll be a time, this is a very confusing time, you start noticing that things are getting better. You don't even know how it's getting better. You almost don't want to trust that it's getting better. But it just gets better anyways. Because you're doing all these practices. They have to work. You can't deny the laws of the universe, like gravity. So it's it's gonna work. If you're doing the right things, it's gonna eventually work. So, but you are gonna have those moments where you're confused about how it's working, and that can last weeks. And then you start trusting it more and more and more. And then you go, wait a second, I'm having a bad moment right now. But just the other day, I was laughing at a funny movie, or playing guitar, or doing something else I love to do. And I was okay for those few minutes or a few hours. And then you start trusting, okay, it will get better. It takes that's another hard part of this, is realizing it does get better, even if it takes months or even years. And you have to realize that you're worth it. Realize it is possible to think about it and not emotionally respond to it is another thing. I can talk about this right now, and I'm not having any flare-ups of anxiety at all whatsoever. And there'll be times where you feel like you're a little courageous, but then you're like, I'm afraid. There'll be times you don't want to leave the house because you're afraid of, being with other people and, dealing with that while you're dealing with other people. But you'll notice that the more and more you do it, the less and less it becomes an issue. So, like I said, over time, you'll think less and less about it. It will be torment for a while, but slowly it starts to become a major pain, to then a moderate nuisance, to then a minor annoyance. Right now, for me, it's mostly a minor annoyance with some moderate nuisance episodes popping up. And lastly, realize it is possible for it to always be a part of you, but it's not going to own or control you. Life does go on. I play guitar, sing, listen to music, watch movies, go for walks, bike rides, spend time with my friends, create YouTube videos like this, and when I'm focused, engaged in something else, 99% of the time, I'm not worried or even thinking about the OCD. So again, this has been hopefully not too long of a video. It's about 25 minutes here, but I'd love to see your comments. Again, don't read the comments if you're in the middle of this, but you can reach out to me directly if you want. I'd be more than happy to help you. And I know if you're on Michael's channel. He's also been very helpful as well. So we are here for you. And again, like Michael said, I think this is all because you're basically, like some people call it, like upgrade. You're trying to move out of these. You took the red pill instead of the blue pill. You're waking up, and all these thoughts and questions about your existence are coming in, and all these weird sensations, and your body doesn't know how to respond to it. And I think there's something better on the other side of it. But anyways, I thank you for your time, and God bless.